everybody, welcome to my learning lab. So if you see my last lesson, you will know that my last lesson is angles 5, which is the last lesson of angles topic. So today I'm going to talk about a new topic called algebra. Alright, some of you here might already know what algebra is, but to most of you, I think the most of you here might not understand what algebra is or didn't even hear of algebra this word. So I'm going to write out the meaning or definition of algebra. Alright. So algebra meaning is using letters to replace words. I mean not words. Alright, sorry. It's using letters to replace numbers. Alright, so if you read out this definition or meaning, most of you might know what kind of letters we use very often to replace numbers. Alright, they are X, Y, Z, W, or etc. Alright, etc. is not a letter we use to replace numbers. Alright, it's just a short form meaning there are still more of them. Alright, etc. Okay, so now you know the meaning of algebra, which means using letters to replace numbers, and these are the letters we used often to replace numbers. Alright, so I'm going to show you some simple algebra equations you need to memorize because they are quite important. Alright. The first kind of equation I'm going to show you is the equations that includes plus and minuses. Alright. Okay, the first one is A plus B minus C equals to A minus C plus B. Alright, so this is the first one. The second one is A minus B minus C equals to A minus C minus B. This is the second one. Okay, the third one. A minus B plus C equals to A minus B minus C. This is the third one. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth one. A plus B minus C equals to, oopsies, no space, never mind, I'll just pull it here. Alright, A equals to A plus B minus C. This is the fourth one, and I'm now going to show you the fifth one, and that's the last one. Alright, A minus bracket B minus C equals to A minus B plus C. Alright, so these are the 5 equations, 5 simple algebra equation that includes pluses and minuses that you need to memorize or remember. Alright, you take another 5-second look and I'll just pull it up. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, as I said just now, this is just the first one. So now I'm going to show you the second one. Alright. So the second kind of equations includes the multiplication sign. Well, the equation that includes multiplication signs might include pluses and minuses. Alright, that's normal. Alright, so let's move on to the first one. A times B equals to B times A. Alright, I think this is a common sense to all of you. You just move the B and A around. It's just the same thing. You can just write out like 5 times 6 equals just to 6 times 5, right? Is equals to 30. Alright. Alright, so this is the first one. Let's move on to the second one. The second one is A times B times C equals to A times B times C. Alright, so this is the second equation. I'll show you the third equation now. A times B plus C. Alright, you see the plus sign over here? As I say, it's very normal. Equals to A times B plus A times C. Alright, this is the third equation. I will show you the fourth equation, which is the last equation. A times B minus C equals to, never mind, no space again, I'll just put it here. Equals to A times B minus A times C. Alright, so these are the four equations you need to remember that includes multiplication with some minus and plus signs. Alright, so these two kinds of equations, as I said, you need to memorize them. Alright, I let you take another peek of this for 5 seconds and we'll just move on to let you solve some easy algebra questions. Alright, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so the first question I'm giving you today is this. A times B equals to what times what? Alright, so these are no numbers involved yet. I'm just going to show you. Alright, so you can just pause the video and find it out yourself first. Alright, so I assume you are done. Alright, this question is quite easy. If you look carefully at the equation on top, you might just notice this. See, A times B equals to B times A. You just change the A and B around. So the answer for question 1 is, I'll erase the question marks, equals to B times A. Alright, so this is our answer for the first question. Okay, so next up for the second question, this is a bit tricky though. Alright, if you are at starters for algebra. Alright, so I ask you, if W is 2, what is X? Alright, so the equation is W times X. Well, you might see that these two are almost the same. Alright, so this is quite common in algebra, so when we see these kind of things, right, mathematicians just came up with an idea. They just put the W and X together. When you see two letters together, it just simply means times, or sometimes we just put a dot in the middle. It means to multiply. Alright, so W times X equals to 30. Alright, you can just pause the video and find it out. Alright, I assume you are done. Okay, so the question says, if W equals to 2, what is X? So the question already gives you one information. Alright, which is W equals to 2. So we can change this to 2. Okay, now we have one unknown here. Alright, unknown means the letter we doesn't know which number it is. Alright, so we can just, this is the first one. So I will write it out in a much neater way. 2x equals to 30. Alright, so you see this equation, you might already know what the answer is. Alright, so 2x equals to 30. Then 1x equals to 30 divided by 2, because there are 2 x's here, equals to 15. Or there's another way in doing this step, is like this. You write 2x equals to 30. You want this to be x, 1x. So you divide it by 2. This you divide it by 2, which is 15. Well, these two are literally the same thing, but you just don't have to waste your time writing these two. The time divide by 2, divide by 2. Alright. So our answer for this question is x equals to 15. Alright. So that's our answer for question 2. Alright. I think most of you understand that. Alright. So what's up? Let's go for question 3. Alright, so this question is based on the equations I shown you just now. Alright, so if you have looked carefully at the equation above, you might know this. Alright, so let's see. 5 times b plus 6 equals to, let's say a number. Alright, let's say the number is, 60. Let's see the number is 60. Alright, so you see this equation, the question is, what is b? Alright, you can just pause the video and find it out yourself. Alright, so I assume you're done. So this equation look familiar, right? Well, it's actually the equation on top, this one. A times bracket b plus c equals to something. So the equation here, this one, a times b plus c equals to a times b plus a times c. So if you memorize this, you just know what the answer of this question is. So it's just simply 5. You just remove the brackets. Alright, for this kind of question, you must remove the brackets. So if you remove the brackets, it becomes b. This 5b plus 5 times 6 equals to 60. Alright, so why do I write 5b? Because 5b just means 5 times b. Alright, we don't want people to misunderstand that 5 times b. So some people will misread this as 5xb, which means 5 times x times b. So I don't want any of you here to misread any information here. So I'll just put it as 5b, which means 5 times b. Alright, so move on. So 5 times b plus 5 times 6 equals to 60. So 5 times 6, if you have memorized the multiplication table well, you might know that this equals to 30, 5 times 6. So I will write this as 5b plus 30 equals to 60. Alright, so we call these kind of equations definite equations. Alright, that means there are only one answer to this kind of question. Only one answer to this kind of questions. So we call it definite equation. So the other one is called indefinite equations, which I talk about the next lesson or the next lesson. Alright, I will teach you about that, so don't worry. Alright, so these definite equations, alright, as I said just now, these are definite equations, so there are only one answer. Alright, for definite equations, you can play around with these three numbers with letters to say specifically for this. Alright, so you see this plus 30, it means positive 30. But we are finding for b. So the first step is to find what 5b is. So we just don't want the 30 here, positive 30 here. So you see this plus sign, we turn it into a minus sign. So positive 30, if you minus 30, that means this is cancelled out. So if you minus 30 here, you must also minus 30 here. So 16 minus 30. Alright, so you cancel out this, because plus 30 and minus 30, because 5b plus 30 equal minus 30 just equals to 5b. So 5b equals to 60 minus 30, which is 60. I mean 30. Alright, sorry, my bad. Okay, so now see this equation, it's easy to solve now, right? So 1b equals to, you divide by 5 here. Okay, this is the one that starters to, alright? You divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here. So the answer is 6. So b just equals to 6. Alright, so this is our answer for this question. Alright, so who wants more questions? Anybody who wants more questions here? Alright, I'll give you one last question. Alright, one last question. Or I will say the second last question. Oh. Alright, so for the second last question, which is question 4. Question 4. Okay, this question is similar to the question on top. Alright, similar to the question on top. Alright, so okay, now it is 7 times 10 minus c. Alright, equals to, let's say, a number let's say a number 63. Alright, so you can just pause the video and find it out yourself. Alright, so I assume you are done. Alright, so let's go through this question. This question is similar for the question on top, as I said just now. It's very similar. This is 5 times bracket b plus 6. But this is 7 times 10 minus c equals to 63. So the way you solve this question is the same as the way you solve question 3. It's only that you need to change the plus sign into a minus sign. So in solving this question, the first step goes like this. 7 times 10 minus 7c. Again, I don't want any of you to be messed up with 7xc or 7 times c, so I'll just write it as 7c. Alright, so this equals to 63. Alright, so if you have memorized your multiplication table well, you might know that 7 times 10 equals to 70. So 70 minus 7c equals to 63. Alright, so I'll just leave these equations here. Alright, so you might find something similar going on, but something is not very quite similar to the one here. Here, we can cancel out because it's plus and plus. But here, it's a positive 70 minus a negative 7c. You can read this as negative 7c, alright. So in doing this kind of question, you can alright, so my way of doing it is you ignore this 7c first. You give it a 70 minus 63. Okay, this is easy. 70 minus 63 equals to 7. Alright, this 7 over here just represents 7c. So 7 equals to 7c. Alright, so now this looks simple. 1c equals to divide by 7. Divide by 7, you get it 1. So c just equals to 1. Okay, to those who wants to confuse themselves, alright, I teach you a method to confuse yourself. Alright, this is, I mean, you can use this method. This method is easier, but the confusing method is, I mean, it takes time to understand. Alright, so the confusing method is this. So you, alright, I'll write this equation out again. Minus 7c equals to 63. So you minus the 70 here, because it's a positive 70. Minus 70, you also need to minus 70 here. So 70 minus plus 70 minus 70 is just same, so I'll just cancel this out. Alright, so 63 minus 70 equals to negative 7. Now, if you cancel this, is negative 7c equals to negative 7. Alright, so how do you solve this question? Easy peasy. You can cancel out the minus sign, the negative sign, because see, you have a negative sign here. You can plus it to become a positive. You can, if you plus it here, you must plus it here, so it becomes a positive 7. So a positive 7c minus a positive 7c equals to a positive 7. So it again leads us to here. So c equals to 1. Okay, so as I said, this is the second last question. So we are going to go for the last question, which is question 5. Alright, I promise this is the last question we are going to do now. Tired, aren't you? Question 5. Alright. So in this question, I'm going to give you a question like this. 5 plus 6 minus c equals to 20. Alright, this equation, if you read carefully or if you memorize the equation I showed you just now, you might be able to solve this. Alright, you can just pause the video and find it out yourself. Alright, so I assume you're done now, so let's go through the last question of all. Okay, so 5 plus 6 minus c equals to 20. So if you memorize it carefully, you find out that 5 plus 6 minus c equals to 5 minus c plus 6. Alright, this looks like it's still the same thing, right? But so you cancel out this and this, so you are left with 20 equals to 5 minus c plus 6. Alright, so you can, again, this is a definite equation. So you only have one answer, which is C. We need to find out C. So again, we can minus this out. So you cancel this, you minus this, cancel this. So in here we minus a total of 5 plus 6 equals to 11. So you minus 11 here. Alright, so 20 minus 11 equals to 9. And here we have a lonely C. So we just paste the C here. Because it's just one C, we don't need to write the 1 here because it's really abundant. But I'll just write it here in case. So now the equation is out. 1C equals to 9, or 9 equals to 1C. So that's our answer. C just equals to 9. C just equals to 9. Got that? So if you still don't understand what is happening here, I'll just tell you again. So 5 plus 6 minus C equals to 5 minus C plus 6. So you just cancel these two out, so it becomes 20 equals to 5 minus C plus 6. I'll just put all the ones here. Okay, so you see this positive 5 over here, you can make it 0, so you just minus 5, cancel it out. Positive 6, make it 0, minus 6, cancel it out. So in total, we have minus a total of 5 plus 6 equals to 11. So we minus even 11 here. We also need to minus 11 here to make it balanced, to make it equal. So minus 11. So 20 minus 11, simple, equals to 9. So you have a lonely C over here. Paste it here. So you can just see that C equals to 9, or 9 just equals to 1C. Alright? So this is the end of our lesson. Alright, see you the next lesson, which is Algebra 2.